Good morning. Hope this video finds you well. Locally, they are doing a auction for about 20 work and service vehicles in the area, and it just sparked this video. I see a lot of folks will have a transaction involving a vehicle, whether you're a private party, whether you're a retail salesperson, whether you're a dealership. The process is actually pretty standardized. And generally, what you need to understand is that the better you get ready for that retail transaction, and the better and the more transparent you are on that asset, always the better the outcome. Now, what does that mean? And why is it applicable to your business in general? In this scenario, it is very standardized to fully merchandise a vehicle, take full pictures, detail and clean that car to the best of your ability to make sure it is standing as tall as it can be. Then you want to itemize and fully detail as much description as you can as far as servicing, the life of the car. Has it been hit? Has it not? If it's been hit, what happened? Are there pictures of it? Was it a fender bender in your garage? Did a cat just sit on the hood and scratch up the hood, but you had it painted and that showed up on your Carfax because you may or may not have made an insurance claim on that car, right? The best way to sell anything, in my humble opinion, is full transparency, especially when it's a one-owner situation or a one-owner municipality, and you have actual resources at your disposal that you may or may not be using. Like locally, for example, Alabama, to the best of my knowledge, uses Long Lewis, a dealership out of Montgomery, that they have the fleet contract for the entire state. That means the replacement vehicles are more than likely coming from that dealership. Why does that matter? Well, they're going to benefit off of the offload because they're going to be replacing the vehicles, right? In that scenario, you could seriously just send a list of those vehicles, decent description, to them. They can use their tools, enter the VINs, give you direct guidebook examples of every market variation and book of from each vendor on that vehicle. So you know exactly what your reserve should be set. You know exactly where your base, top dollar, bottom dollar, what every bit of that transaction should be. Automotive is very transparent. The market adjustments, KBB, everything is pretty fluid. However, a dealership has a few more tools at their disposal, like vAuto, Provision, or any one of the other tools that they have at their disposal. The reality of the situation is, are you using the assets to the best of your ability? And I'm not personally sure if the city does that or doesn't do that or anything else. What I'm saying is, the best move for any transaction of that type is to do a simple due diligence, and really it's a little bit easier than you think. Somebody locally told me the vehicles are simply pictured, put up on an auction site, on a single auction site like Gov Deals, and then put up, and they were surprised at how well they did. It's very interesting based off of what the surprise of how well that comment, let alone told me that the due diligence may or may not have been done. You should know exactly what they should bring. If it was a little low, if it was a little high. It's a 2-second VIN explosion into the system. Now, if it was a Ford, VIN explosion doesn't always work. So you have to include any modifications, any window sticker variants that may or may not have happened, in that for them to give you the best possible outcome and the best possible guidebook depending on options clicked and extras. Spray and bed liners, things you may or may want to add, all those different types of things. Now, for business, what does this mean and how does this affect you? Well, there's standardization in the automotive industry for retailing a unit. And whether or not the company does a good job of it matters to the end consumer, the margin at which they're able to sell or move the vehicle, and what ends up happening. Now, that's not fully applicable just to automotive. How well are you merchandising everything that you have? If you're in the wellness space, it's harder. You're not able to merchandise everything. Trust me. We've been in Facebook jail plenty of times with our wellness clinic, just for showing maybe a vial of NAD or glutathione. But transparency is the key wherever you can do it, especially if you're trying to use the best practices forward and being transparent throughout your whole process. And process standardization can be key as you're moving forward. What can you do and how can you repeat it for the best possible outcome? I ask that because, in my professional opinion, everything can be maximized. But you may not be as OCD as I am in every variable, and that's okay. The reality of it is, sometimes it just takes a moment to step back. Hey, wait a minute. What can I repeat in this specific scenario? How can I maximize this transaction? And for me, locally, if there's anywhere I can help, I would love to help. Especially using the decades of experience I have in the automotive industry. And I started humbly, detailing cars at BMW and Mercedes-Benz of Cincinnati. Jake Sweeney, BMW. Just transparently. I started out in a detail-oriented world. And luckily, that has shaped my career. And the reality of the situation is, as I pivot into this space, I continue to look for valuable places where I can simply help. So, if you ever need something, you ever need help in a transaction world, in your processes, as you look to maybe standardize and repeat, rinse and repeat, and do a better job for your end customers, I'm here. Thank you. Make it a great day.